Victoria has introduced a world-leading thunderstorm asthma detection system that will provide a 3-day advance warning of potentially deadly conditions following an event that caused the deaths of 9 people and thousands to be hospitalized. Thunderstorm asthma occurs when grass pollen is swept into the clouds as the storm forms in water in the clouds causes the pollen grains to burst open, creating smaller allergen particles that can be breathed deeply into the lungs. Of the thousands of people affected by the severe thunderstorm asthma event in Melbourne on 21 and 22 November 2016, up to 40% had never been diagnosed with asthma. The new warning system combines weather data from the Bureau of Meteorology with pollen data collected by Deakin and Melbourne universities to predict the likelihood that any given thunderstorm will become a thunderstorm asthma event. It will then trigger public warnings that will be run through the State Emergency Management Centre, which also manages bushfires, severe storms and other natural disasters. The warnings will be distributed on the VIS Emergency app and ranked as green for low risk, orange for moderate risk and red for high risk. They will also be used to help hospitals and Ambulance Victoria direct resources and build in a surge capacity to deal with an influx of cases. Only a small proportion of thunderstorms cause epidemic thunderstorm asthma. The great challenge with thunderstorm asthma, and epidemic thunderstorm asthma in particular, was its scale, its severity, and the fact that we did not have a prediction system in place that would have enabled us to understand potentially what was coming and what the impact might be, the Health Minister, Jill Hennessy, said at the State Emergency Management Centre on Sunday. This monitoring system that we are launching and showing you today coincides with the start of the pollen system. We need people to take this seriously. This is probably the most developed system that exists anywhere in the world around epidemic thunderstorm asthma. There are people all over the world that are looking to Victoria, our response, and what they might learn from the very challenging and tragic experience that we had last year. The thunderstorm asthma event last year occurred in the middle of the grass pollen season, which runs from October to December, and on the hottest day since the previous autumn. By 6 p.m. on 21 November, Ambulance Victoria and hospital emergency departments were overwhelmed with people presenting with asthma, breathing difficulties, or other respiratory distress. Coronial investigations into the deaths are still ongoing. According to a review of the incident by the Victorian Inspector General for Emergency Management, an additional 9,909 people presented to emergency departments in 24 hours. Private hospitals had 231 additional presentations, and the state-run nurse on-call service received 313 calls from people reporting respiratory distress, almost 5 times the average number of that type of call. Senior paramedics said it was an event equivalent to a bushfire, where people are severely burned, or a terrorist attack, where people are critically injured. The number of people affected and the severity of the consequences suggest this thunderstorm asthma event was without international precedent, the review found. The Andrews government accepted all 16 recommendations made by the review and has committed $15.6 million to managing the issue. Hennessy said the warning system, coupled with a public health information campaign, would allow people at risk of thunderstorm asthma, which includes people with hay fever, grass pollen allergies and undiagnosed asthma, as well as known asthmatics, to prepare and have a plan in place. Undiagnosed asthma can sometimes start as being diagnosed as hay fever, she said. So for people with hay fever, particularly that suffer from hay fever during the pollen season, we really want to get the message out. Go and see your GP, talk to your pharmacist about whether or not you may in fact have undiagnosed asthma. Victoria's Chief Health Officer, Prof. Charles Guest, said the advice for people who suffered from hay fever, allergies, or asthma during a thunderstorm asthma event was to stay indoors and use the medication they had been prescribed. Avoid pollen, that's critical, he said. Stay away from the thunderstorm, that's critical. Use your medication. If you're in trouble, call an ambulance. In addition to the severe event in Melbourne in November last year, there have been reported incidents of thunderstorm asthma in Melbourne in 1987, Tamworth in 1990, Wagga Wagga in 1997 and Canberra in 2010. There have also been recorded events in London and Naples.